Hey guys, it's Reese. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to survive finals. Now hopefully I'm early enough for the majority of you. I don't know when all of your finals are or when your school ends. I know my school ends pretty late, like in the middle, beginning of June, but yeah, hopefully I'm early enough for some of you, and if not, sorry, you can use this for next year. So I'm just going to teach you the tips that I use for getting through finals week because it is a rough week. Doesn't even matter what grade you're in. You can be in middle school, high school, hey, you could even be in college. Hopefully these tips help. So let's get started. First tip is to prioritize. Know which finals you're taking and know which ones are the hardest and which ones are the easiest. Really important to know which ones you're going to be taking first too, because those are the ones you're going to have to study for first, obviously. So you don't want to study for the last one first, because that just doesn't make any sense. Prioritize which finals that you need to study for the most. Figure out which classes that you struggle in the most. Say it's like science. This is going to have to be the class that you spend the most energy on studying for. If you're really good at English and you basically remember the majority of what you learned, then you don't have to spend as much time on it as you do science. Tip number 2 is to assess the materials that you have. Figure out what notes, worksheets, quizzes, and tests that you have from throughout the year so that you can study them. Also see if your class is giving you a study guide, because that's going to be very helpful in narrowing down which material you actually need to know. But if you don't get a study guide, it's kind of hard because then you're just left with all this information that you learned throughout the year. But if you're taking the final, figure out if it's on everything throughout the entire year or only the midpoint on, because that will really literally cut in half the material that you need to know. So start digging through your notes and all that stuff you have jammed into your backpack and start studying. Now tip number 3, start studying. Go back to tips number 1 and 2 and figure out which final you're taking first. For example, let's say English. So you're taking English first. If you have a study guide, great. Start pulling out your notes and previous quizzes that correspond with the study guide outline. If you don't have a study guide, start gathering everything. When you start going through all your notes, figure out what you know and what you don't know, because you either know it or you don't. That's like my #1 rule when it comes to taking a test. So say you're going through chapter 1 and you're like, okay, I remember this, it's all coming back to me once I read it, just go through that, you're done with chapter 1. But once you hit chapter 2, you're looking at it and you're like, I don't remember any of this, then start studying a little bit harder. You don't want to expend the same amount of time on a chapter that you know pretty well and a chapter that you don't know at all. Like, it's common sense. So if you're stuck on chapter 2, just go through all your notes, figure out what you need to know. If there's a lot of vocab, start going through that, and overall just put more time and energy into it. Now, if your notes are a mess and you can't really decipher what is what, my best tip is to go through a textbook if you have one. So say you have your English textbook, just start going through each chapter, read through it, and if it starts coming back to you, just be like, okay, I know this, let me move on. If you hit, once again, chapter 2 and you don't know it, just read through the entire chapter. That's how I study it. It kind of works. And usually in the textbooks, at the end of the chapter, they have like a little quiz yourself thing or like a few questions. Go through those questions, go through like the end of the chapter outline, and really get that back into your mind. Finals are hard. There's so much stuff to study for, so you really need to learn how to time manage all of it. If you've gone through your notes, gone through the textbook, and you're still not understanding what you're supposed to, go online. There's this amazing thing called Google that'll probably answer any question that you have. If you have only like a singular question, like what does this word mean? Search it up on Google, find the definition, you're good to go. But if you're struggling with like a concept, say like a math problem or like a math equation, that's the word, I couldn't figure out the word, man. There are probably at least 10 YouTube videos on it that will explain it. There are so many good YouTube videos of like professors and teachers that spend their time making them, so use your resources. Also, if you don't already know, there's this amazing thing called Crash Course by John Green and his brother. I can't remember his brother's name. Hold on, let me look it up. This is gonna bother me. Hank Green. Hank and John Green. Crash Course is a YouTube series where Hank and John Green literally explain like every topic ever. It ranges from history to psychology to math to science, like literally everything. If you have a question, they probably explained it. So by this time, you should have enough material, enough resources to start studying. You just actually have to put the effort into it. I know it sucks. We don't want to do it, but you also don't want to fail. hey, some people just come naturally. They take a test and they're good at it. Other people need to work hard for. I'm kind of in the middle of it. It really just depends what subject. So not everyone's the same. You have to do what works for you. And if you can't study by yourself, form a study group. Figure out the friends that are taking the same test as you, form a little study group, and this way, if you don't have certain notes or materials, they might have it. Or if you don't understand a certain concept, your friends might understand it. That way, you can bounce your ideas and information off each other, and you can all help each other. Don't cram. Don't do it the night before. We all do it. I've done it. But it never works out in the end. You're stressed, you're exhausted, so if you can start studying now, start studying now. And of course, the basic tips: get enough rest, get enough water and food in your system, eat healthy, blah 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 blah. So that's it. I hope this helped you guys. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. I'll hopefully answer you, or other people will probably answer you as well. Also comment what your favorite class is. I want to know. Mine's definitely psychology. I just love that class. If you take any interesting or different classes that you like, comment them below. And otherwise, I hope you guys do great on your finals. Good luck and have a wonderful day. Peace.
This feels good right here.